If you put me in a room with a 115-inch mini LED TV, painstakingly unboxed and installed, you can bet your that the first 4K Blu-ray I would watch on the giant television would be Wonder Woman. To check out the highlight detail in the clouds, the reflections of her armor, and the sparks from the deflected bullet in glorious HDR, of course. And although ultra short throw and home cinema projectors have the potential to project an even larger picture, none I have reviewed could hold a candle to the 115-inch TCL X955 in terms of peak brightness, black level, and sheer HDR impact. And that's without mentioning the fact that ambient light won't dilute the contrast and colors on a TV as much as on a projector, even when paired with the best ALR screen. In other words, TVs are simply more versatile and can still deliver good picture quality in a brighter environment. Furthermore, the 115-inch TCL X955 is the brightest TV I've measured so far, giving it plenty of buffer to overcome ambient light during daytime viewing. Now, you have to understand that some of the more popular consumer colorimeters on the market are only accurate up to 2000 nits. So I made sure to measure the 115 X955 using a colorimetry research CR250 spectroradiometer, which has been rated to be accurate up to a staggering 154,000 nits. In the most accurate movie mode, HDR peak brightness on a 10% window came in at 5300 nits, the highest I've measured from any TV to date. After sustaining this figure for around 10 seconds, peak brightness would drop to a baseline level of 2700 nits, which is still plenty bright. To me, 10 seconds is actually a very long time. I mean, for rendering bright HDR highlights which are usually quite fleeting, for instance lightning or specular reflections on moving objects. Full screen luminance measured 900 nits in movie mode, which is comfortably brighter than any OLED television currently, contributing to tremendous HDR impact as long as the source material has been graded to take advantage of such enormous light output. The 115-inch X955 uses an 8-domain VA-type LCD panel without viewing angle composition filter from TCL's panel manufacturing division CSOT, with peak white aligned to around 120 candelas per square meter. Black level measured 0.018 candelas per square meter on a 4x4 ANSI checkerboard pattern with local dimming disabled, delivering a native contrast ratio of 6800 to 1, which is among the highest we've measured from an LCD display. The trade-off was that viewing angles would be narrower than other VA panels equipped with viewing angle composition film, causing the sides of the screen to appear slightly darker with some color and gamma shifting when displaying full-field gray slides. Even though there's some mild dirty screen effect or DSE, we actually think the screen uniformity was very decent for such a large TV and did not bother us in real-world content. We certainly haven't seen another 115-inch TV from rival manufacturers to compare. The TCL X955 uses mini LED backlight technology with full array local dimming to improve contrast performance, and we calculated a total of 20,736 independently dimmable zones in a 192 x 108 configuration. Again, this is the highest number of local dimming zones we've counted on any LCD TV we've tested so far. Now, TCL said that its picture quality engineers are still fine-tuning the local dimming algorithm, and I did not want to lug my expensive Sony HX3110 mastering monitor around to compare near black luminance accuracy and shadow detailing. So I decided to save any in-depth local dimming analysis for our full review of TCL's 2024 TVs when the TV's firmware has been finalized. But cursorily, blacks looked inky and blooming was well suppressed when watched straight on. The VA LCD panel on the TCL X955 is equipped with a quantum dot enhancement film, helping the TV achieve a DCI-P3 color gamut coverage of 97% in UV terms and REC 2020 coverage of 80%. And when a peak brightness of 5000 nits and full screen brightness of 900 nits are added to the equation, the X955's color volume potential should exceed even the brightest QD OLED TVs, whose full screen brightness would top out at 300 nits. Baseline SDR color accuracy without local dimming was good from factory, with an average data error of under 2 on this color checker SG chart where 140 patches were measured, and only a few colors exceeding the humanly perceptible threshold of delta error 3. Of course, engaging local dimming would affect SDR color accuracy to a certain degree depending on the local dimming setting you select. But let's face it, from what I've seen across different mini LED brands, only Sony has implemented corresponding LUT compensation at different window sizes to ensure gamma and color stability regardless of the backlight intensity. TCL is not quite there yet. Then again, Sony doesn't sell a consumer television above 100 inches in screen size either. The 115-inch TCL X955 uses an MT5896 SoC, namely a MediaTek Pentonic 700 chipset, which brings several benefits. 1. Native 10-bit gradation was outstanding, with no significant posterization seen on both this rotating quantization test pattern from the Spears & Mansell UHD HDR benchmark disc, or in the skies of the Martian 4K Blu-ray. When watching pristine content, we genuinely see no need to engage the gradation clear setting, which had a tendency to scrub away fine detail however slightly. 2. The Pentonic 700 chipset has added support for Dolby Vision IQ with precision detail to enhance contrast in bright and dark areas of Dolby Vision content. And 3. As you can see from the Xbox information screen, there is now support for 4K 120Hz Dolby Vision gameplay, although the TV's Dolby Vision game mode seemed to overbrighten the PQ ETF tracking, leading to some clipping of bright highlight detail, so we quickly reverted to playing games in HDR10 with HIG enabled. In game mode, input lag measured 13 milliseconds at 60 frames per second, which can be reduced further to below 10 milliseconds by setting refresh rate to performance mode that essentially performs frame doubling to 120 FPS. Feeding the TCL X955 a true 120 frames per second video signal resulted in an impressively low input lag of around 5 milliseconds, but only with local dimming disabled. Engaging local dimming would increase input lag to more than 30 milliseconds. TCL promised that they will investigate and fix this in a future firmware update. 2 out of 4 HDMI ports are HDMI 2.1, each supporting the full HDMI 2.1 bandwidth of 48 gigabits per second. However, TCL has at least managed to migrate eARC functionality to one of the 2 4K 60Hz HDMI 2.0 ports on the X955, therefore freeing up the 2 HDMI 2.1 ports for those of you intending to use eARC with an external soundbar or home theater system. Once dynamic tone mapping was manually turned off in the game mode picture menu, HDRG would become automatically enabled, providing a clipping point of 2400 nits for both max TML and max FFTML values on the Xbox Series X, therefore preventing display-side tone mapping from diluting the HDR impact in HDRG-compliant games. Playing HDR games on such a big screen was truly a revelation for me. No projector can come even remotely close to matching the combination of high peak brightness, rich colors, low input lag, and up to 144Hz VRR support that the 115-inch TCL X955 is capable of bringing to the party. Of course, installing a 115-inch television is no easy task. Just thinking about it is already giving me backache. Now, many of you may not know this, but award-winning British AV retailer Richer Sounds actually offers a dedicated custom installation service, and it's them who swiftly and expertly set up the TCL X955 at the company's Manchester store for me to test. With an approved installer network of over 150 professionals nationwide, They cover all types of residential and commercial projects. Whether you are seeking to complete the look or take your home cinema experience to the next level, the Richer Sounds custom installation team can provide tailored solutions to deliver impressive visuals and high-quality sound according to your budget, decor, and expectations. Their design service ensures optimal system performance, allowing you to visualize the setup in your space before installation. For more information, please visit their custom installation page. Thanks again for your support. Okay, realistically, most people willing to pay 25,000 quid for a 115-inch TV would probably be using an external home theater system. But that hasn't stopped TCL from lavishing the X955 Max with a 6.2.2 channel speaker system. There are multiple sound presets to choose from. To our ears, music mode sounded the most balanced, delivering above average sound with decent bass, clarity, and soundstage to complement the gigantic picture, although we did crave a bit more low-end response. If you are still undecided about whether you should go for an ultra-large TV or a projector for your home theater setup, I have actually done a side-by-side comparison video, and you can find out the results by clicking here.